I would like to welcome our participants and let you know that our session today will focus on a very important leadership role in a club officer's team, the role of the club president. I have served this role twice in my Toastmasters career, and I have to say that the experience was quite different. So I will try today to share also aspects of this experience, and also this training today will be as engaging as possible, so as to share experience from our clubs and exchange best practices. I will share my screen to share with you my presentation. So, the goals of this training is to learn how to support the officers as a club president, learn how to support the meetings, learn how to manage the dashboard to help the club. Yes, we do have this technical aspect in Toastmasters in every role, and we have to look through this. We will have a specific section in our meeting today, and through Club Central and dashboard, district dashboard, we will see how the president can collect data and also learn to manage the liaison with area, division, and district. But before we start, I would like to listen to you to share your roles this year, and maybe share a thought about what the role president means to you. Which bells does this word ring for you? I will start with the order I see you on screen. First with Robert. Please open your mic.
Sorry, I see now this year my role as secretary, and as I make progress in the future, it would be possible to be president of our club. Maybe, who knows?
We wish you to also hold this role, and would you like to share what this word means for you? When you hear this word, what would be your first impression, your first thought, president?
I think in this role, most important is to support all members and give a good role model for the other members, and be the first who go ahead and support others.
I keep the word role model for sure. And that's how in Toastmasters many times we are encouraged to step forward and take up a role, because someone who has served the same role has inspired us by example, by leading by example. Thank you very much for this thought, and I will move on to our next participant, Alberto. Would you like to share this year's role, your role in Toastmasters, and also what the word president means for you?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a VP of Public Relations this year. It's my first year as a board member. So a couple of years ago, I had a short experience with Toastmasters. I did a couple of levels, but not really engaged. So now this year, I want to be a bit more involved. That's why I'm also taking a role. So yeah, president for me, really, it's all about, or it should be about leadership. So I think that from the board, many times a lot of ideas could come, like also from myself as a VP of Public Relations. We could do this, A, B, C, D, so many things coming from all different roles. But at some point, priorities need to be set and then structure and assign projects to people, right? So the president should be the one in charge of the final decision, saying, okay, this year we'll focus on project 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, because if everything is priority, nothing is priority. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alberto. I wish you and we wish you all the best in your new role. And I keep the phrase prioritizing leadership, and a president's role is also to prioritize ideas, managing best practice suggestion discussed in a board, in a club, and keeping the order, the way it can be most effectively prioritized. We move on to our next participant, Lizel Geradiotis. Welcome, Lizel. We all share something about us, our leadership role, and what the role of president means for us. Okay, you have the floor is yours.
Thanks, Panagiotis. Good evening to everybody. For me, I'm the Vice President of Education this year for the 2023-2024 Toastmasters year. And the word president for me means CEO, so the Chief Executive Officer of the club that needs to run, manage, and lead from the front. I believe the president has a huge responsibility as setting the tone in all aspects of the club, as that is generally who you look towards. When you think of a structure, a management structure, you always start from the top. And you look at who's at the top, and then you filter down. You really look at the bottom and look up. You look from the top and you filter down. That is just how the human eye, in my opinion, works. And I think it's very important for the president of a club to be focused, to be organized, to have a plan, and also to have a backup plan, because things don't always work according to plan. So for me, I also see this very tightly related to the vice president education role, which is second in charge, because at some point in time, you'd also need to preside. So you need to be very attentive as to what is going on, because when you ask to be stepped up, you need to be ready for that role. So these two are tightly related, and I believe even in trainings, it's the focus should not just focus on the president itself, but also the president along with the VPE, because their roles overlap in so many ways. And it's something that I don't often see. I hear a lot of talk about the individual roles, but not where the overlaps are. And if you're not clear on where the overlapping is, you won't know where to take up and what to do when you're required to. So that is the silo mentality. So for me, I think in general, in a management structure, we all fit into each other, although we have designated responsibilities, and we need to know what everybody's responsibility is to step in when needed, but also what ours is, because you can't be stretched too far along. If everybody thinks somebody's going to do it, nobody's going to end up doing it. So that is my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your input. I keep the phrase run, manage, lead. It could also be the title of today's training, for also to focus, but keep a broader view, because some problems are solved having a broader view, a panorama of the problem, and some with focus. And this is also applied to one of the matters, like the overlapping of roles and responsibilities you referred to. Thank you very much. And I would also like to give the floor to Elena, who I know that beyond her very challenging role as Program Quality Director of our district, also holds the president's role this year. So I would like to listen also to her perspective. Elena.
Hello again. Yes, I think the president should be a role model, and I believe that he needs to give the essence of where the club wants to go with the cooperation of the members. He or the president needs to cooperate with the other members of the board and share, let's say, the same vision for the club in order all together to work for it. And even sometimes the one of the members cover the other member in order to move forward for accomplishing their vision.
Thank you very much for your input. So also a club president is working towards reaching a consensus regarding the values and also the vision of the club. Vision is a very important tool for a leader to move forward and help the club. Thank you all for your input. I wish you beforehand a very fruitful Toastmasters year in your role, and I see also future presidents here for your clubs. And now I will get back to our presentation. You already mentioned a lot about the aspects of a president's role and the president's responsibilities. So we are here to expand on these, share best practices, and also be specific regarding the role of the president in an officer's executive meeting, in a Toastmasters meeting, in the dashboard, and also in the upper levels of a Toastmasters organization. First of all, let's see the part of the vision. Elena referred to a vision towards which people in a club officer's team, in a Toastmasters club, generally in a team work. So I would like you all to take 3 minutes to write your club's vision. You may have already had a club officers meeting in your home club and discussed about the club's vision. If not, no problem. You can think of your club, the people you are working with, and imagine what the 2 to 3 most important lines of your club's vision are. Take 3 minutes and I will notify you 1 minute before the end of the time. So the exercise starts now. 1 minute left. Okay, time is up. And now I would like to invite those interested to share their club's vision, to open their mic and share with us the club's vision. Elena.
So I would like to build our membership club up to 20 members, which is the DCP goal for a club. Second, I would like to manage to reach at least the distinguished status, and if possible, the president distinguished one. And third, provide learning opportunities by high caliber speakers in order to support our name as an academic club.
Let's upload its vision. It is very important. Thank you very much for sharing. Who would like to go next?
I can go.
Yeah, Alberto.
Yeah. So the idea in our club is to, someone before used this expression, spread the word about Toastmasters. And we think that Toastmaster is a very powerful tool to improve communication and leadership skills, but still not very much known on the public, let's say, professionals, but also, let's say, normal people that want to do something with their skills. So the idea is to try to grow the network of our Toastmaster Club here in our city. We have only one in our city, so the idea is to try to connect better with the public organizations, could be associations, could be schools, and also try to grow it also on LinkedIn, because at the end, for many professionals, it's very connected to their skills, to their career growth, their goals. To try to leverage that more on LinkedIn specifically. So that's the idea. So we don't really need more members. Actually, we are good, but the idea is to spread the words more, so get Toastmaster Bible, let's say, to more people.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing your club's vision.
Thank you.
And who would like to go next?
May I continue?
Yeah, of course, Robert.
In our club, our first goal is to get more members. We are always looking for new members, and it is very hard because we are not have our meeting room. Our meeting room is quasi the world and online. Our second goal is to invite the members to take roles and be proactive in our meetings so that we can fill up all the positions. And the third one is to invite guests to work with us by table topics, so they can get a first impression how it is to speak in public. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Robert. And Also, Liesel has shared her vision to create a supportive environment where members and guests grow, learn, engage, and become more competent public speakers and leaders through, first, more educational sections, I think, yeah, inclusivity and fun. Thank you all for sharing the vision of your club. Of course, our vision reflects, first of all, our role. We speak from the very specific perspective of our role, but if we generalize each point's essence, this also has to do, is closely related with our club's vision. I have to say that a common link in your answers was that, first of all, you stated the point and you said, I visualize, I see my club, for example, having 20 members at the end of the year, or to have created a network with the organizations and the schools to have spread the word about Toastmasters. And then you became specific, for example, by cooperating with schools and organizations, by inviting guests to participate to the table topic section, by having inclusivity, fun, and variety in our meetings. This makes a vision realistic, to be specific and have specific suggestions. And this strategy is followed also in the club officer meeting. So first of all, let's see, building on your answers, how a president can support the officers, his or her team. Building the team, first of all, through social meetings. When a club officers team is installed at the start of the Toastmasters year, not all the members of this team know each other. So they have to break the ice, as we do in our first pathway speech, in the icebreaker. So by breaking the ice, having a social meeting, even through Zoom, if the conditions do not permit, it is very important for your team to understand its synthesis and also build strong bonds that will help you to cooperate throughout the Toastmasters year. Next, you have an executive officers meeting to complete the success plan. The club success plan has a first section devoted to values and operating rules. Many of the methods, the ways that show how your club officer meetings will be held is based on the first pages of the success plan. So be sure that you pay attention to every page of the club success plan and that you agree on the operating values and principles you will use in your club officers meetings. Have a one-to-one meeting for its role. I don't know, maybe your club president has held a one-to-one meeting with you. And this is important also for the matter mentioned earlier about the overlapping responsibilities. Maybe these one-to-one meetings are effective in this direction to specifically define the responsibilities of its role. This can be done at a club officers meeting, but for the better understanding of each role's responsibilities, a one-to-one meeting must take place many times. And it is a kind of leadership mentoring between the president, who have most probably served again in a role in the club officers team, and the new officer. Also decide on the roles tasks so as not to overlap, the roles overlap with each other, and arrange a regular meeting, for example, at the start of each month with your officers. For example, at the first Thursday of each month, we will meet and have a club officers meeting so as to report regularly and that you have an idea of how each role goes on with its tasks, how the team is going on, going back to the decisions, activity strategies planned, and discuss the progress. I want us now to turn to the meetings, how a club president supports the meetings. You know, and you have experienced it even from the first days of your membership and participation in Toastmasters, that a president is the first and the last impression of a Toastmasters meeting. That means that the president officially opens its meeting by saying his or her name, his or her role, and explaining some things about Toastmasters, and also closes these meetings officially. And keep in mind to prepare the club announcements. You can make club announcements at the beginning or at the end of the meeting. And also a president is prepared to, along with the team that gives the first impressions to the guests. There is a welcome committee, and this is suggested also by our Moments of Truth manual, to have a welcome committee in each club. This club welcome committee is supported by the president. The president is the ethical supporter of the welcome team, and it is the first leadership impression of the club. And also a club president makes sure that the Toastmaster runs the meeting smoothly and is there to support the Toastmaster of the day. In a few words, be the member you want to see as a club president and as a club officer, because many times a club president is absent and another officer like the VP or the VPPR, the secretary, the sergeant at arms must open the meeting and give the first and last impressions. I will stop for a little bit the presentation and ask for your input. Let's imagine that the president of the person standing up on the lectern, behind the lectern, is the club president of this club on the photo. What do you think it would be the best practices to follow in a Toastmasters meeting? Feel free to open your mic and share your ideas and thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not sure I got the question 100%. Can you please repeat
Yes,
that?
of course. Let's look at the photo and imagine that the person standing behind the lectern is the president of the club. What best practices do you expect from this president during the meeting?
So previous president of my club, Toastmaster, I think he was already doing some good best practices. I got some ideas. So for example, he would do like thing like 2 to 4 minutes quick talk, and that would try to address first, for example, the guests. So we'll try to welcome them, asking some questions like how did you hear about Toastmasters? What are your expectations? And it will do it at the beginning and then at the end, like where your expectation successfully met, or did you expect something else? So I think that's very good to engage guests and actively engage them. So then, for the rest of the meeting, there will be a bit more focus on the session, because I think that Toastmaster sessions for for new joiners or someone coming from outside can be sometimes can be quite difficult to follow. You know, so many rules, so many different roles, and, you know, shaking hands, what these guys are doing. So setting a bit the tone for new members, for guests, that's something that he was doing, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Alberto. It's true that for many guests, maybe Toastmasters for the first time create different impressions. So the president is the best person to collect these impressions. Yes, would anyone like to add on this?
I want to add on
I personally cannot hear Denise.
Yeah, we lost her, I think. She froze.
I think
on top of
We
top
can
of
now
what-
hear you, Denise. It froze for a while. Now, yes.
Okay. Now, yes. So what I was saying, I want to add on top of what Alberto was saying. Doing all those things, the president would feel the new members or the guests feel good in the meeting, so that they become comfortable to comment themselves, to ask questions, or to act more comfortably in the meeting. So I think the president has this availability and the power to make sure people feels good attending their meeting.
Yeah, thank you for I think the key word is power and availability. I think this role gives the space to the president, of course, to provide guests with these very positive experiences and impressions we all want for our guests. Thank you very much. Other ideas regarding the best practices a president applies during the meeting? We see, however, how important it is at the beginning and at the end of the meeting for the president to represent the club and provide with the best impressions possible. And also one point that emphasis was put on many times in this discussion regarding the picture, that a president collects the impressions of the guests or address them at the beginning of the meeting to introduce themselves. This is very important, and for the officers to have in mind. And that's to the quality and the moments of truth of our meetings. Now, a more technical aspect of the president's role, how to navigate and use tools like the Basecamp, the Club Central. I will pause this presentation and get you for a little bit through these tools on Club Central. So let's see. This is the Toastmasters Club Central. You can access it through through this welcome option, My Home, and then Club Central. It has different sections: club membership, club management, resources, and reports. The most important of these tools is the Distinguished Performance Report, which is also related to the club goals and the Distinguished Program. Distinguished Program was mentioned during your vision. It was mentioned in the club officers meeting section. So, for example, here is displayed my home club. We can see at the beginning of the year that there are 10 goals, and the club officers team must work towards these goals. This is a guide for you to have throughout the year, and a reference point to see how many of the goals are achieved by these moment. How can we plan our strategies? For example, we have achieved membership goals. Now we have to pay attention on the educational goals. This is a yearly process, and I think that this plan can be, you can refer to this plan with your club officers team many times during the Toastmasters year. And the best tool to do this is the club success plan. We have experienced technical difficulties the last days, and we still experience, but do not be disappointed. If you type Toastmasters International Club Success Plan, you can access this plan, or you can access this plan online and start working on the values of your team, on the operating principles, the educational goals, the membership goals. Make yourself familiar. If we see the goals, there are 6 educational goals, a specific number of members to achieve, finish a specific level. How many new members a club must enroll for, and if a club can achieve also 4 more members to be enrolled. Training is another aspect of success for a club. You are serving this goal today as club officers by attending this training, and also administration. This has to do with membership renewals on time and club officer list. You know that membership management gives you a list of the members, and here you can process with the payments, and here you submit the education awards. And also you have access to different tools, for example, club contact and meeting information. Here you can update basic information about your club, like the contact, the meeting location. Very important to keep guests updated, and prospect members, prospect guests updated about where and when the club meets. Make sure, see to it that you regularly update this information. From this tool, at the end of the year, around May, you install the new officers, you submit the new officers of the club, and of course, the club achievements are submitted, are recorded on the club achievements board. Club events can be also scheduled on the club management club events section. Club demographics has to do with some aspects of your club's operating principles, like the officer term, the club type, the membership composition, or the contact, the mail contact. These all must be updated, and if you want to thoroughly update the principles your club uses, use this tool, addendum of standard club options. It has to do with the term of the officers, if it is annual or semi-annual, the club name, the membership, dues and fees, meetings, officers, and rules of order. And it may take 20 to 30 minutes according to the things you want to change, to the changes you want to apply. Generally experiment with these tools, and you can also have a view of your club's past officers and present officers, past and present educational awards and members through the administrative reports. All this is available through Club Central. Make this a tool that works for you, and do not work for it. This is generally a rule we have in Toastmasters, a best practice, not to work for tools, but make tools work for us. Keep this in mind as a president and as a club officer. And I would like to ask if you have a specific question on or concern, a best practice, a problem you would like to share regarding these technical aspects of Toastmasters Club Central.
Yeah, no, from my side, I'm still only VP of Public Relations, so I haven't really gone into all of these details. But from the outside, I have to say that between this one and then the Easy Speak, it looks sometimes a bit complicated. Not complex, complicated. Meaning, you know, there are different tools not aligned with each other's. Not the best user-friendly, let's say, experience or interface. And I'm selling software, and that's my job, so I might be a bit biased. But yeah, but little by little, I'm getting into it. So hopefully, maybe if next year or the following I'll be president, I'll be ready for it. Thank you.
Great. Of course, all these tools may not apply to all the roles. For example, a secretary may not be interested in the club financials, for example. I give an example which may also not be true, because the secretary may keep a list with who has paid on the general list of the members. But yes, we try to provide Toastmasters International with feedback regarding what operates and what does not effectively function. And so for sure, every time we have a new role, we explore different areas and more areas of the Toastmasters tools. A question from the chat, how you have used your Club Central for effective planning and management. I think that if we should keep three aspects of the Club Central, and thank you for this great question, that would be the membership management, where you can, I do not click because we cannot present a personal data of members, and because the meeting is recorded, but there is a list that you can download in an Excel form. This list is very useful because you have the members, you have the join date, until which period they're paid, and it also gives you an overview if they're enrolled in the pathways. This is very important. The Submit Education Award is also a very useful tool. And generally focus on the tools that have to do with your club's needs. When a club receives new members, you focus on these two tools. And for example, you do not need to discuss so much addendum of standard club options if your club does not require to. And be honest with your area directors when you need a training on the tools, or you do not understand something regarding the tools. The best way is to ask for support. The district is organizing club officer tools trainings, and also refer to the last year's officers team that can provide you with the best practices. But I think that if there were three sections from Club Central that you should pay the most of your attention to, is the two sections on club membership and these distinguished performance report. Very, very important. And now I resume to our to the presentation to see the last part about the liaison with the area, division, and district, and how you can recognize the achievements of your club members and club officers. So, as a president is taking part in the area council, the division council, and in the district council. The VP is also taking part in the area and district council for sure, the VPM also in the area council. So you see that many of the officers are engaged in these upper levels of the Toastmasters organization. Upper, not literally, because an upper level in Toastmasters, the pyramid is upside down. The upper levels serve the lower levels. So district serves division, division serves area, and area serves the clubs, and clubs in their turn serve the members. So keep in mind that the president of the club must actively participate, state club's opinion, also claim club's interests. For example, if a decision is made regarding something we see every year, the realignment, clubs may have specific needs and specific requirements to be communicated to the district. The president, it is important to make them clear in cooperation with the area and the division director, and also be open. Participating in the area council means that as a president, you are willing to work with the other clubs, organize common events and common meetings, joint meetings, and this is the way to achieve greater results and work towards common goals, because your club's success contributes to the area and division and district success and to the success of Toastmasters International. Participate in courts as you already do, and support officers to participate in courts. The role of the president is to let them know that next Sunday, for example, we have our area's club officers training, or the district is organizing a Toastmasters Leadership Institute series of trainings. Take part, see if you're interested in this session, for example, about the president. And this is the role of a leader, to create learning opportunities for members of their team. And through collaboration, you will find solutions in many of your club's needs and problems. Your club's problem may be the best practice of another club, and your best practice can enlighten other clubs and other club officers about what to do in a difficult situation. When I was a president, for example, we have supported in a period when we do not have had many speeches, our club meetings, by organizing joint meetings with other clubs who would like to support. And after a few meetings, the club has has increased its participation, has found its way of conducting successful meetings again. Sometimes we can find help in the best practices, ideas, and common events with other clubs. So I would like to have another exercise at this point. We can take again, as the time permits, we can take again 3 minutes, and after this presentation, think about 3 things you will make differently in your club. Not as a club president, because you hold various roles, what three things you will make differently after this presentation in your club? I will keep again the time and let you know 1 minute before the end. The time starts now. One minute left. Okay, now it's time to share three things you will do differently, and the discussion is open. Feel free to open your mic and share.
Okay, I will start. Well, I would like to try to be more organized in agenda creation. I would like to take advantage of the various roles we have in our meetings in order to give stage time to everyone, even for our guests. And I would like sometimes to use the round robin story building in order to have fun for some minutes and laugh.
Great, thank you very much, Elena. Who would like to go next?
Yeah, so from my side, I think a very interesting idea is the one I heard about one-to-ones between the president and different roles. So even if I'm not the president, but I think I find it useful. So it could be between me and the president, or maybe between me, myself, and some other roles that I might have some projects to run with. And I think that this could be more useful compared to to what happens sometimes when presidents sometimes ask for just a team meeting, everybody jumps in, and then you have 10 people that should collaborate, but how they can collaborate, it's difficult to have 10 people working on something at the same time. So one-to-ones, I think, that will help to better direct specific topics. So for example, imagine that you have 3 main priorities. Maybe one will be around public relations with external stakeholders. Therefore, you actually need to talk with the VP or PR. Then it will be the VP of PR in charge of that. Then you might have something with increasing the number of members, maybe, right? So that might require few roles, or that might be open to maybe 1 or 2 people. As a whole, I will push ahead in my Toastmaster board to try to be more focused on the topics that we want to discuss, instead of just being sometimes too much generalistic. Thank you.
Great, much appreciated. I see also Robert has his mic open. Yes.
On my opinion, I learned from your presentation and a lot, because I'm a lawyer, so I'm very strict about rules. And now I heard from you, there is no rule. They must not be very strict. You can change it and adapt it for your club and make it possible. And this gives me some abilities to change something in the future. And second, it was very interesting to see what is going on paper. What are the abilities to bring the club to best practice. And this was very helpful to me, because I'm a normal member, and this was a good insight.
Great. I'm glad that you have found these as different ideas, different good practices to apply, and you have found the connection link with your club's experience. And I also read Liesel's input in the discussion. 3 things you would do differently after the presentation. First, collaborate more with other clubs. Learn more about Club Central and its uses for application. Learn more about Moments of Truth and its uses for application. I would like to work smartly, not to reinvent the wheel. Use what is there and has worked, and to build on that to tailor it for us. Thank you very much, Liesel, much appreciated. And commenting on the feedback you have given so as to wrap up this session. First of all, we want to provide as officers, this is also the president's goal, with the best practices. So that is up to a creative and various agenda with elements like the ones Elena mentioned, like a more organized agenda, stage time for everyone, round robin rules. Next, there is an organization on leadership level. The officers meet all together, one-to-one. I liked also the idea expressed by Alberto that they can meet according to projects that may be related, even I will add, with pathways. For example, the VPPR and VPM have a great project to make a special event with a school or an organization, also mentioned at the start of our discussion. So this is a project that may require multiple meetings between the officers team and maybe the president, VPM, VPPR in that case, and priorities per role so as not to overlap. flexibility, yes, flexibility. We have some rules, we have some good practices. It is good to be flexible in terms of what roles can do, some responsibilities that may belong to more than one role. It is up to each club to define which role will have these responsibilities. But for example, about the educational goals or the educational program, primarily responsible is the VP. I really agree that we are strict on some basic principles, but we can be flexible on other points. And of course, very important, I keep this phrase, not to reinvent the wheel, work on the best practices, be inventive, be smart regarding these best practices, and see what fits best and most effectively regarding the situation we have each year. If a club is okay with the members, maybe should work on other aspects, for example, making meetings more various and more engaging for the guests, or expanding to the community. If a club needs, for example, more members, it should focus on a speechcraft program. This must be reassessed. The best practices also kept in mind. And what I can share, all in all, above all these tips, a club president, and this also applies to the club officer, creates a culture, is part of the club's culture. So do not forget, as an officer, to provide members and every meeting's guests with your roles culture. To remember, for example, that Alberto as a VPPR, or Robert as a secretary, or Liesel as VP, or Elena as a president, did these and these. And through this profile, you learn a lot and you enrich your leadership experience. But above all, the most important aspect, and I get back to the presentation for the last slide, it is to remember what Ralph Smedley has pointed out: we learn best in moments of enjoyment. And what does this mean for you as a club officer? Never forget to make the most of this experience. You are not requested to have the skills of the role beforehand. You build these skills throughout this journey, this leadership journey. So have fun, engage with the members of your team, build strong connections, build communicational patterns, communicational methods that prove effective for all of you. And enjoy your role, enjoy the moments of recognition, recognize the achievements of other people, and try to be inventive and make the most of it. I hope to have been of help for you regarding the role and generally your leadership role this year. It may were too specified to the president, but the president has also qualities that apply to all the roles of a Toastmasters, of the Toastmasters Club. Remember that you as an officer can form your own team and lead this team. So you're actually a president of a sub-team in your club. Keep this in mind and make the most of the role of your role and its leadership horizons. Now we have plenty of time to discuss impressions, other ideas that have come up from this presentation. Now the floor is open again for your remarks, final remarks, impressions, suggestions.
Yes, I would like to tell you all that you can use your microphone and ask the question you would like, because we are not many people. So you can ask directly Panagiotis any question you may have. And I would like to thank Panagiotis for this presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, from my perspective, even if I'm not the president yet, it was very interesting to hear a bit more about this role, and some people have already some experiences with that. So, and trying to connect our officers are collaborating among themselves, but together with the president as well. So, yeah, hopefully next year or soon, I will take again this training, but with a different role. Thank you.
We wish you that you achieve being the president of your club. I'm sure that all officers here have the qualities to achieve this role, as Toastmasters are committed to the meetings, and that's why you became an officer. You mentioned it at the beginning, you wanted to be more engaged. I appreciate what you said, yet is the key word also. And this is something that must encourage us every time we are thinking of the next step. Yes, you all may have not been presidents yet, but this is to come. I like this mindset.
And I would like to share with all of you that if you don't know something, just ask. It's just a question away. There are a lot of people who can help. They are very willing to help you. So just make a question and you will find the answer very soon. Either your president, either your area director, division director, someone is there to help you in any question you may have. And there are a lot of tools, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel, as Liesel said.
Well pointed out, Elena. The one question may save you from creating more problems. For example, we have seen many new officers thinking that they should know before how things work and are afraid of asking, and at the end this situation becomes more complicated than it would be if the question was made to an experienced officer, the forerunner of the office. This is true, but Toastmasters is a very supportive environment that cultivates this culture of asking your predecessor in the role. We are privileged to have this option. Other questions or remarks? I see Liesel's input. Thanks for the presentation and words of wisdom. I appreciate it. Some fun elements you can share to. Okay, that's a great question. Too. When I was a president, in order exactly to cultivate this club culture, I addressed many times the club members with videos, especially because it was during the pandemic and we met online. People sometimes wanted a message from someone like the president of the club to encourage to recap how the club is going. So there were different periods during the year. I prepared videos in Christmas with a Christmas background, or even during the carnival period, dressed in a uniform as Julius Caesar. Try to make fun of your role sometimes. Try to make it more approachable, make your profile approachable to the members and provide them with the best impressions. because it is not about we do not have a leader in the meaning of someone who tells others what to do. We are functional leaders who want to make things easier for our members. So all these titles are more of have a symbolic use. The essence is to be helpful and inspiring for the people. Try to be close to them, be there, be present. If that helps, I hope to have be specific. Other comments, other impressions, best practices from your clubs. I learned a lot of things. This was the third time I made this called the club president session, and I have to admit that always I'm not bored of learning about club's best practices. I really like it, and I have kept down a lot of ideas. Thank you for this.
Well, another idea I have seen, and I haven't participated, I have seen from other clubs and members enjoy it a lot, is they organize karaoke parties with 4 members. And this is something members like a lot, and they have a lot of fun. And another activity I saw a club doing was improvisation games, which is really nice because it is theater together with Toastmaster, and it is something very motivating for members, and they really enjoy when they do such stuff.
Yeah, good point too, because these events form the bonds between the members. It shows that we are working together because we're Toastmasters, but we also have fun together. And indeed, when members are bonded with this kind of events and extracurricular out of the Toastmasters program activities, it makes them more motivated to execute the club's tasks and hold the meetings. Yeah, also bowling, socials on the Toastmasters. Yeah, all sorts of activities that the team may find they have in common and makes them have fun, indeed. Okay. If there is nothing more to be said, I would like to thank you all for your active participation. Once again, I would like to thank today's moderator and Toastmaster of the evening, Elena, and the District 109 for inviting me to hold this session. I hope to have been of your help and your support, and do not hesitate to reach me out if you have more questions, and also provide me with your feedback through the specific forms that will be sent to you from the district. Thank you very much, and I wish you a fruitful and very productive Toastmasters year, and all the best for your Toastmasters role.